Hi. Good morning.
As a mother of 2 daughters and my profession as a nurse, Senator Obama has a vision and a plan for working families. He has worked hard. He has worked hard and made the ability to get the job done across party lines on economics and social justice for working families in Chicago. So, without further ado, I am both proud and honored on behalf of SEIU and myself to introduce our next president.
For the wonderful hospitality. I want to thank Lori Reinhardt for the wonderful introduction and the great work she does each and every day. Give Lori a big round of applause. I want to thank some wonderful elected officials. First of all, the mayor of Lancaster, Rick Ray. We also have a wonderful state representative here who's on the Obama team, Mike Sterling. This is the 4th day of our 6-day bus tour in Pennsylvania. And I've been having a good time. I've had a great time. We played some basketball with Bob Casey, and neither of us got injured. We have stopped by some sports bars, I must admit, and had a few beers. Oh, and at Penn State, I had a chance to talk to Joe Turner. What I love about these kinds of bus tours is that you really get a chance to listen to people. And I've been running for president now for 15 months, and it's really been a conversation with the American people. And that's what I want to do here today. This is a town hall meeting. So when I announced, there were people who would ask me, they said, "Brian, why are you running this time? You're a relatively young man. You can afford to wait." And I had to explain to them, I'm not running because of some long-held ambitions. I'm not running because I think it's somehow old to me. I'm running because of what Dr. King called the fierce urgency of men. Because I believe that there's such a thing as being too late. And that hour is almost upon us. Because we are in a defining moment in our history. Our nation is at war. We just marked the 5th anniversary of the war in Iraq. A war I believe should have never been authorized and should have never. More than 4,000 brave young Americans, many of them from right here in Pennsylvania. We've got thousands more who've been grievously injured. We are spending $10 billion a month in Iraq. Money that we could be spending in rebuilding roads and bridges and putting people back to work and giving them health care right here in the United States of America. It's a war that hasn't made us more safe. In fact, it's distracted us from the war that has to be won in Afghanistan. Al-Qaeda still at large. Bin Laden still at large. Those who killed 3,000 Americans. We're at a defining moment in our history because of our economy, which is teetering on the brink of chaos. The people outside of Wall Street, people on Main Street, have been struggling for years now. It's just nobody has heard their cries. That ordinary people can do extraordinary things when they come together. That change doesn't happen from the top down. It happens future generations. If we could just get past some of our divisions of race, and religion, and region, if we could all come together, black, white, Hispanic, Asian, when I talk about change we can believe in, that's not change that's going to be easy. We can believe in it, but we're going to have to work for it. We're going to have to work for it and struggle for it because the status quo doesn't want to change. Energy. Everybody's looking at gas prices right now. But listen, the energy problems we have aren't new. We've been talking about them since 1973, since Jimmy Carter. And you know the only thing that's changed since 1973, we actually imported more oil than we did then. It's not enough just to elect a Democratic president if we don't change how business is done in Washington. So what this election has to be about is making Washington responsive to you, hearing your stories. I want to make sure that every child in America, every child in Lancaster has the best education this country has offered. Now's the time for us to rebuild our roads and our bridges and put some of the folks who've been laid out from construction jobs back to work. And finally, I want to have a foreign policy that makes sense. And my job as Commander-in-Chief will be to keep you safe. And I will do whatever is required to make that happen. I won't hesitate to strike against those who would do us harm. That will be my job as Commander-in-Chief. Hillary Clinton, John McCain, they had a chance to exercise their judgment. They didn't, because this war in Iraq is unwise. I was opposed to this war in 2002. I will bring this war to an end in 2009. I just want you to know that I'm so grateful that all of you took the time to come here. I'm not going to be able to get through every question. Usually we have more questions than we have time for. But if everybody who wants to ask a question, just raise your hand. We've got some microphones in the audience.
Senator Obama, I have a son who's a lieutenant in the United States military, and I respect your position on the war. You said it was a war that should never have been fought. What can you say to the mothers so that they do not feel that their sons and daughters have died in vain?
Let me thank you for the service. Overseas or is he back home now? Okay. So we'll be praying for him, keeping him in our thoughts and prayers. A woman gave me this bracelet in Green Bay, Wisconsin. Her son, at 20 years old, had been killed by a roadside bomb. Their service to our country is never in vain. I mean, they have performed magnificently. They've done everything that's been asked of them. Our military has acquitted itself with all the honor that you would expect. And that's never a waste, because that's their job. The failure has not been on the part of the military. They haven't failed. The problem has been the civilian leadership. And so my job as Commander-in-Chief will be to make sure that the civilian decision-making is as good as our military performance.
Hi, thank you. I work with drug-addicted adolescents and adolescents with mental health problems. And I'm very tired of having to beg insurance companies to give them the treatment that they deserve. I feel like insurance companies have way too much control and power in the system that we have now. And I'm wondering what your thoughts are on
I agree with you. And insurance companies are some of the biggest players in Washington. And that's why it's so important not to have them finance your campaigns. Because when they do, they got their hooks in. And it becomes very hard then to make good decisions in terms of where should our healthcare system be going. I have proposed, as I said, a plan where if you've got health insurance, your biggest problem is rising costs. And so what we're going to do is we're going to set up what's called a catastrophic reinsurance program that works with employers to cap the spike in premiums that happens when, let's say, a single person in a company gets leukemia and it's $1 million and suddenly everybody's premiums go sky high. Step number 2 is, as I said, to set up a government plan similar to what I was a member of Congress. Because there will be a big pool of millions of people, you can then negotiate for good terms. And we will subsidize anybody who can't afford it. So there will not be anybody in America who wants health care who will not be able to get it under my plan. And I'm convinced that Democrats are going to be unified as soon as we settle on a nominee. There's a lot bigger difference between me and John McCain than me and Hillary Clinton. Well, John McCain wants to continue a war in Iraq perhaps as long as 100 years. He wants to perpetuate Bush economic policies, including tax cuts for the wealthy that he himself called irresponsible when he wasn't running for president. I can't promise you this. I will always tell you what I think as president. I will always tell you where I stand. I will be honest with you about the challenges we face. Because people tell you they're going to be easy, but they're not telling you the truth. I will listen to you even when we disagree, and we're going to disagree sometimes. And the last thing, the most important thing, I will spend every day in the White House thinking about you and listening to you.